What's up, y'all? It's LakerFan here. As you can see by the title of today's video, my 6'10" point center is starting to break NBA 2K25. Now, I know a lot of y'all probably don't expect to hear something like this. If you're someone who's been using the dunk meter after patch, or let alone in this game just period, you'd probably have the impression that it's really bad. And I know me personally, when I didn't have a lot of reps on this stuff and I wasn't really labbed up on it, I was thinking it was really bad too. Now, I'm not here to say that the meter dunk is unstoppable by any means, but the build in a lot of cases can be, where you can use this as a combo between an ISO slasher, like you're seeing in all these clips as well, and still be a pick and roller and a really good option as a center for your team as well. So like, I mean, you can see the movement is very improved on this compared to what I've been on for the most of the year so far, with like the first month or two of the game right now. And really, I've improved a lot as a dribbler, and I'd like to think that's a big building block in terms of being a slasher in 2K25 and in previous 2Ks in general, is understanding how to get to the hoop effectively. So what's really helping is this Giannis crossover for sure that you're seeing me hit sometimes as well. But Pro still works for a lot of you guys out there that aren't starter 4 or anything like that, don't have the extra animations. And I'm going to drop all the sigs in this video as well, so just stay tuned for that. But just wanted to get through all these clips and maybe break down some of them as well. In this video, you can see in some cases I have the Hall of Fame rebound chaser for the max plus one, and that does mean in a lot of cases too I only have Hall of Fame posterizer because they're both tier 1 badges and stuff. So if you see Hall of Fame rebound chaser, that means that in that same clip I have Hall of Fame posterizer. But if you see gold rebound chaser, I have legend posterizer on in most of all the cases. So I've come to find out I really don't think the legend poster is a huge deal. I really do think it's just the high driving dunk rating and all the animations and stuff that come with it that's really, really nice. I would prefer, in my opinion, to run the Hall of Fame rebound chaser with the Hall of Fame posterizer rather than to have gold rebound chaser and, you know, the legend posterizer. So again, you can see even the X button contact dunks that we're getting and stuff like that. You can see that player right there going for the meter dunk, and then I'm out in transition with not even what would be considered a great take last year. And that's what I really do have to say about the dunk meter in 2K25 is it has its moments of being very annoying, I will say. And I really do want to tell you guys, I'm going to talk in depth about the meter and my opinions about it in this video and stuff as well. But I do have to say, last year's game, this would have been an automatic miss every single time. Like, if you all remember how the meter worked in 2K24, it's either a huge meter or a small meter. And what's very frustrating about this game, obviously, as we all know by this point, is the fact that there is no visual representation of what's a good dunk, what's a bad dunk. You have to just time every meter as well as you can and hope that it was just a good opportunity. And naturally, what that means is there's a big learning curve. For me as a player, I wasn't getting enough reps, if you ask me. I was playing way too much role player center in this game, and I was not in this like rec runs with me running point center and like actually having things at the helm, and I was playing way too much backseat to get good reps, if you ask me. Now, after these runs where I was getting literally constant reps of being on the ISO stuff like that, forcing myself to learn how to play the game and how to do the slashing and stuff like that, I feel like I've really improved, and I have a lot to tell you guys about with this. So number one being, you can't preload meter dunks anymore. That's a very important thing to know about, and that's something that I've talked about in previous years, where let's say I caught this maybe about 4 feet ahead, right, and I was in position to be able to already meter dunk. What I would have already been doing is flicking up and holding down for the meter input, and it would have already just instantly popped up as soon as it possibly can. Here's the thing, you can't do that anymore. You have to wait, catch the ball, and then actually start the up-down mechanics, which it's very important that your teammates hit you a little bit more quickly in transition. I would like to think you want to be able to actually get some chance to read the court a little bit, whether it's to pass or not, or if it's to be able to get some runway on your meter dunk as well. So I know for those of you out there who aren't following me in like previous years or anything like that, you maybe don't even know what I'm talking about, the preload meter dunk and stuff like that. We'll have another opportunity later in the video to talk about it. And actually, it's this one right here. I would have been maybe preloading a meter dunk in, you know, previous years, but in this case, you have to wait to actually catch it and come down with it. Now, as you can see, coming out here with the hezzy and stuff like that, backing it up, just hit a quick little offhand run with the Zion. Didn't get anything to go, so we're just going ahead and showing you that you can also get open off ball with this build. I'm coming out here standing dunk metering with this as well. It was pretty effective. What I do want to really say for the majority of you out here, I really do think going into your standing meter dunks while actually moving is very key and very crucial. So like this clip right here, very good example. We'll let it play out, then I'll rewind it and you can just kind of talk about it. So like you can see I'm underneath the basket, but I move into it instead of just kind of standing still and being in the dead zone with it. And I think this is just allowing me, especially with poster machine active, you know, the takeover ability, which is going to enhance your driving dunk meter, just like meter dunks in general. It doesn't say anything about enhancing the standing though. So in this case where you have the takeover active, or if you're on a build like me where I have 96 driving dunk versus 90 standing dunk, I have higher driving. So if I can do certain animations that are more tied to my driving dunk, like for instance if I put the ball on the floor, this in my opinion is based on your driving dunk rating, and also allows Poster Machine to make some impact as well. And then again, we already mentioned you can fit in as a little bit of a pick and roller right here. Like you can see, you know, just getting down in the box out, grabbing the rebound. And this is where I did allow the standing dunk to obviously play factor, and you can see the rise up, pop up and stuff like that too. Dre on the slash right there with me filling in for the alley-oop. It fits in perfectly for the build as well. You can run Aerial Wizard in tier 2. You can see LeBron dunk coming out here going crazy as well in transition. Once again, a little bit more of a point center run right here. I just get a little bit of blow by and just bang on the corner defender. And this is where you can see the legend posterizer starts to kind of kick in a little bit of the runs that we were actually running with this. So hitting our hash offensive player right there, small guy in the paint, and we're just there going for the meter dunk. Now, this is one thing I do want to discuss a little bit as well. You really have to be picking and choosing what your matchups are. You can bang on any small player in the game easily. They're not going to kick you out of meter dunks. It doesn't matter their positioning, anything like that. It is very interior defensive based in terms of what's a good dunk, what's a bad dunk. So, and when you really want to add on top of that, I think that's what makes the 6'10 so powerful as a slasher, is your size just feels so, pause on everything I'm about to say here, but the size feels so just intimidating in terms of like how it affects how you go at your meter dunks versus the opponents, because I really do think that your size matters just in terms of like disregarding contests and maybe the size of the defender and stuff like that you're going to be dealing with. You being 6'10 going at a 6'4 right here, even though it's a driving dunk, I think is much more important. Like if I were to be, let's say, let's change the heights on this, right? Let's say I'm a 6'4 guard trying to dunk on a 6'10 defender. However, my dunk rating and his interior defense rating stay the same. I think I have a harder time dunking that. I think just being bigger than the person you're trying to dunk on helps a lot. I at least that's my personal experience and what I've noticed. To be fair, I don't know exactly when every big defender that I'm going at is a bad defender or a good defender. And, you know, I really want to start labbing this stuff extensively. I want to get on this really hard. So what I might even start doing, I might load up my brother's Xbox and like invite him to my MyCourt or something like that on a dummy account and just start trying to meter dunk tall builds, short builds, high interior defense and stuff like that. I don't know. We'll see how much money I'm willing to sink into some test and stuff like that. But I am very intrigued to start trying stuff like that. So anyway, let's get to the animations and stuff like that real quick, and I'll show you the build. Then we'll come back to the clips all the way from the beginning. I'm just going to break down some of the stuff for you guys in today's vid and explain maybe some of the sigs and stuff like that. We're not going to do a dribble tutorial just yet, but I will show all the sigs and then explain maybe as we're watching the clips back how to do some of them. All right, so here we are on the 6'10. As you can see, fire build name, two-way interior combo forward. So let's go ahead and get to the build just overall first that I want to show you. So I did create this for 6 cap breakers, just so you know, and it's going to be pretty important if you ask me. I think it's very fine-tuned in terms of the attribute ratings. There was nothing I really wanted to take down. I was also debating between like maybe high 60s and 70s post control at the expense of, let's say, some more block rating and interior defense and stuff like that. I was going to go pretty low on these if I really wanted to consider it, because I was planning to maybe more so play perimeter defense, but what I ended up doing in these rec runs especially was playing back end, like playing paint defense with 74 interior D and 84 block, which I think it got the job done. Wasn't really, you know, amazing or anything like that, but it was plenty fine. I wasn't too, you know, displeased with it. And I think that's also because of the height, like I was just mentioning. But you can see pass act 75, yeah, it's lacking a little bit, but again, got the job done. I was playing point center and rec, and I didn't feel so, you know, unbelievably overwhelmed by my low pass accuracy, if you will. 75 ball handle, and then 69 speed of ball. 68 is for the bronze lightning launch. Other than that, I just wanted to get it one more rating high because it was just cheap in general. And then you can see 96 driving dunk, 90 standing dunk, huge deal. And then 80 layup, giving you the Giannis, Jokic, Sabonis, all types of important layup packages that are all in like the 78 to 80 threshold and stuff like that. That give you a lot of variety in terms of stuff you want to play between, whether it's Giannis lay for the Euro dunks. I actually didn't show too many clips of those, but they are very good. And then same with like Sabonis and Jokic for the floaters. Now, I still have to test those out a little bit more, how reliable they are, what, you know, range they have on the court and stuff. I haven't done as much labbing as I did last year. Like I said, it's not my main play style this year so far to be like the point center of the team and, you know, get constant 5-out reps and stuff like that. So I'm still a little bit new to it for sure in this game. But 92 O board for the goal rebound chaser, and then 79 D board has been okay, plenty fine, you know. The screens are a little bit iffy with the silver brick wall, but the ability to have standing dunk and still be fast and like great driving dunk and a secondary ball handler option maybe makes you not as much of a liability screen wise, because they can still give you the ball and you can contribute. Now, I don't know if 75 ball handle is necessarily a must-have, but I will say 70 at least is, and if you want that Giannis crossover eventually, it's 73. So you gotta go pretty high on them. And then agility, also I have to mention, do not skip out on agility, but because the main reason is slice takeover right here. You can see the requirements in the bottom right here. You need an 85 driving dunk, 70 speed, and 70 agility. It's part of what makes the 6'10 so powerful is that you get this takeover right here. Now, poster machine, great synergy with the build. We want to be on meter dunks and stuff like that, so poster machine is amazing to have on this. And then on top of that, obviously, by level 2, you get max driving dunk. And then along the way, you're getting +7 speed and +7 agility. So by like literally level 5 takeover, you're working with 85 speed on a 6'10, 80 agility. 80 agility is literally what I have on my 6'8 that has like, you know, great mobility. And same with, I have 86 speed on the 6'8 as well. So when it comes time for takeover, it's so impactful. So as far as the max plus ones you could do, then I have like a lot of options between the tier 2s, whether it's Challenger, Dimer, Aerial Wizard for the Legend. You could run Immovable Enforcer, High Flying Denier, Lightning Launch. I haven't tested yet, but maybe it's well worth running if you're running as a little bit of a, you know, point center, if you will. I'm not a big believer in strong handle. As far as the tier 1 badges that I would consider, it's pretty much between Brick Wall, Rebound Chaser, and Posterizer. That's about all I'd really ever consider. I don't think anything else is really worth, you know, mentioning. Maybe Rise Up, but not really. I don't do a whole lot of standing dunks. I'm probably a little bit more into the driving dunks, but I just believe that Rebound Chaser has more of an impact than Posterizer does on a game, and it doesn't force me to be a ball hog, if you will, whereas Rebound Chaser, I can fit into the mix of the game a little bit better. And even if they put point guards on me, you guys gotta remember, like, if there's smaller lockdown / guards on you and stuff like that, this is a matchup nightmare just in general as a rebounder, as well as a standing dunker, and, you know, being in the screen game and stuff like that too if you have a weak matchup on you. So there's a lot of different ways to utilize the build, whether it's as a pick and roller on the alley-oops and stuff, or just in general, you know, X button dunks or standing dunks or off rebounds and just the rebounding in general, or the point center style that we have implemented into the game. So anyway, let's go ahead and get to the animations now. This is a major key. I will say, I was just going to mention to you guys this. I was told by some comments to try Ja Morant passed out. It's terrible. Take it off. Don't ever run it. And when I was running none, I only ran Ja for a couple of games. And when I was running none, the passes looked way better, way more crisp, and just simple. Not any troll nonsense. Ja had way too many low-ups, and I was just not a fan of it, especially for passing backwards. Holy moly, it's terrible, bro. If I'm on like a pick and roll and I'm passing back to the hash, awful. But anyway, moving along. You can see we got the Giannis layup package on currently, as I mentioned to you. Jokic, plenty good for the floater consistency. Sabonis giving the best animations possible, and some of them have decent, like, you know, variety of the packages and stuff. If you'd like to check out a video that I did earlier in the year ranking all the layup packages, I don't think my opinions have changed too much. Giannis has an amazing Euro, but that's about it. His spin lay is terrible, whereas Jokic, good floater, not like crazy on anything, and same goes for Sabonis. They kind of don't stand out in terms of the gathers, but not a lot in the game besides the Giannis Euro package really does stand out at all. So anyway, as far as any of the sigs that we have right here, pro combo moves don't really use a whole lot, but it's still something that a lot of people would suggest, especially for the big dribblers out there. Giannis crossover, big deal. Now, I'm still a fan of pro cross. I like the crossover it still gives, as well as the tween that it gives is very clean as well. Now, with Giannis, you guys have already seen that crazy big sweeping, like that's the tween animation right there. The big side-to-side one that's very fast and downhill. It's really good. And then you also have like the blowout dribble and stuff with the Zion dribble style. Really good ball. On the bigs, you can still get things like Banchero dribble style and KD, Giannis, stuff like that, Jokic, Sabonis, but none of them are really good, to be fair. But Zion, however, you saw a lot of those good cross launches I was getting where if you do a dribble move and then run to your offhand, it gives really good, you know, movements on that. The blowout dribble is really good on this as well. So overall, it's just got to be the best dribble style for slashers, period. You really couldn't even argue any of the other ones. Like, let's say Jalen Green, it's too horizontal, even if you're a wing build. So, like, it's pretty much a Zion or nothing when it comes to the slashers, if you ask me, even if you're, you know, on something that can afford the 75 speed of ball. Now, what kind of sucks about being 6'10 plus is there's not a lot to pick from when it comes to a lot of these sigs. Fortunately though, there's a lot of good ones that are even just tied to the ones that you can get. So like pro behind the back, plenty good. You guys saw me do that standstill behind the back in a couple instances, and also the launch behind the back from a standstill position that you get as well. I'll explain how to do that when we get back into the clips in just a second, but it's very good. All three dimensions of it, whether it's the standstill behind the back if you wanted to cook up on some like Jamal Murray stuff from last year, or in this year's case it's like Trae Young or Darius Garland, stuff like that with the behind the back packages. But you can do that from a standstill position, you can do the launch one, or you could do the downhill behind the back, and it's all only a 70 requirement, so pretty good overall. I really must mention that. And again, a lot of that applies to the crossovers as well. There's not a lot to pick from, but fortunately the two that you can afford with Pro and Giannis are both very good, so it's pretty fortunate. Kevin Durant spin, and I'm not sure how many of you guys even care about spin moves, but hey, this is a really good animation at 73 ball handle as well, so if that matches up with, you wanting the Giannis cross as well, good ball. Aggressive breakdown combo, normal. I used this to maybe get in the dead zone in last year's game. I haven't really put it to the test a whole lot in this year's game, but I do know pluck steals aren't very good, so you can still bank on that. It's just that dead zone isn't so crazy dominant. It's just, yeah, you can use this to maybe get through your defender a little bit when it comes to getting those standing dunks. The Ben Simmons sig size up is what I run. You could run Giannis. I think it was plenty good in the past. I don't know too much about it now. Other than that, I don't really have a whole lot more labbed up, to be honest with you. Kawhi Leonard is good, but you can't really like afford to get it on the bigs because you have to be, below 6'10" to even get it. So a little unfortunate, but I think Simmons works plenty fine. I haven't really cared to mess around with anything else because it just is good enough for me. So KD, Hezi, and escape moves also for the Kevin Durant. They're both very good. You saw me get a couple of the cross launches out of both of those as well, and they work really well. I have LeBron triple threat on. I'm just a big fan of how it looks on the launches out of it. But to be fair, triple threat is just terrible in this game. You can't. It just gets worse and worse every year, man. It's insane. Like, you can't burst out of the jab steps anymore. Maybe in some cases, but it's like still very weak. I'm just not a fan in general. Even like the pivot and stuff like that even was good last year. It's just terrible launches. You can't really move out of them very well because you have to do a dribble move before you do any offhand run or anything like that in this game, let alone with Zion. You can't even run well to your ball hand anyway. So it's tough to explain, but long story short, triple threat movement isn't very good. So I just rock out with LeBron because I like the way the animations look, but I don't go to it too often in the first place anyway. I was messing around with some different step back animations. Honestly, I just stick with Pro. Giannis is technically maybe less load up time, but I don't know. Long story short, I don't really care for any of them too much. There's not a lot of crazy step back annies you can do in terms of the snatchbacks, and me on a pure inside, it doesn't matter how well it does a, let's say, looking at the Zach LaVine animation, we don't get some crazy step back animation that just pulls you back like that right there. So you don't really have a whole lot to pick from. So it just is Pro for me. If you want to go with something else, that's up to you. But anyway, lastly, I do want to mention to you guys, I'm running Ayton motion style. Jokic, Ayton, AD. Anything of those three is good enough ball for you, but I would recommend Ayton and AD. Shout out to Toots for the test and stuff like that. AD runs faster on defense, but a little bit slower on offense. Ayton runs faster on offense, but a little bit slower on defense. They're both toward the top three of each side of the court, though, so it's well worth running either of the two of them. Ayton, like I said, just a little bit faster on O. AD, just a little bit faster on D. So it's pretty much up to you in terms of which you would prefer. But anyway, that is all for the animations. Let's go ahead and get... Oh, well, I guess I could show you guys the dunks I'm running. It's not something that I'm still kind of in the works with it, to be fair, but obviously every contact package that we can possibly get, we're running. I'm not really running any baseline dunks. You can see I'm running straight arm tomahawk and uber athletic tomahawks as well. I'm running the side clutches off one, quick drops. I know both of those you can't get unless you're starter 4. If you wanted something to supplement quick drops, because I know you guys can't get the Devin Booker with, obviously you have to be, below 6'10". If you wanted something that could supplement that, back scratchers off one is a plenty decent animation, in my opinion. So you could definitely rock out with that. You could go athletic hangs off one, but honestly, it's just not worth it if you have that high of a dunk rating. I'd much rather go with the back scratchers. As far as the standing dunks, we're not running the basic ones. We're running the rim pulls and then also the athletics and then both the contact dunk packages as well. For NBA player dunk packages, we have Dwight Howard and LeBron. That's all we got. And I love the Dwight Howard package as well. I mean, man, it is so elite in terms of the standing dunk packages that gives you. As far as the alley-oops, I'm running pretty much everything you can. As well as I'm running flashy for the park alleys. I don't know, it doesn't really make an impact in rec as far as I've seen. But anyway, let's get to the clips again and show you guys some breakdowns on some stuff. All right, so we'll go through this a little bit quickly because I know it's already a long video. So I just want to mention like any of the sigs that pop off as soon as I see them. So like for instance, we got a lot to break down in this one. So like this is the Giannis crossover, but you do the tween to do this. You want to flick it up diagonal pretty much to be able to get that crossover. Then this is the pro behind the back. Obviously, you just flick down diagonal on your stick. I'm not sprinting, but you can technically sprint when you want to do that as well. So those are those two moves right there. Obviously RT and then flick down on the right stick as well gives you the step back animation. You could run to the offhand with it, and you can see that's what I do. But then as long, and this is very important, I must mention this to you guys, you have to give this animation enough time to play out to actually run downhill. And if you do that, then you can do this behind the back animation to flip your ball hand. If you do this too quickly though, and don't allow your player to run downhill long enough, you're not going to be able to get this good behind the back. You'll get some stupid load up one. And I hate that they did that to the game because it has completely nerfed the way that I like to play. I just have to be so much more disciplined and like very timing based with my dribbling and stuff like that. But it's okay. But anyway, right here you can see that allows me to get past my defender and dunk on the help defender. Obviously you can make the pass if you would like as well, but you know, we're coming out here dunking a lot, so it is what it is. Lobs, super crazy. I don't even have to mention many of them. It's not really too much of a breakdown. This right here has two different setups of the behind the back. Now, I really want to mention this. Also, shout out to the game. We will drop a video on this one right here because, man, we went crazy in this one for sure. But in this part of the game, I had an AI on me. So what Sprague, and I really got to shout Sprague out over here in the game for telling me, is that this is the way to beat AIs as well. But I just do want to break down how to do both these dribble moves. So first of all, to do the behind the back, you can see I do an escape moves into, or even a sig size up, or you can do a hezi into any move and then be able to do this behind the back. So like you could flick up diagonal, then hold RT and flick down diagonal. You could flick, let's say if the ball was already in my right hand, you could flick hold RT and then to the right and then down diagonal as well. Long story short, you do one move, then you do RT and down diagonal, and you'll get this behind the back animation every time. And that's with the pro right there. And that allows you to run offhand off of it very quickly. I have to mention it's one of my favorite moves to actually like launch out of because it goes so fast. Then to do this one right here, it's a little bit more complicated. So let's break this one down. You don't have to do a hezi, but I really would recommend doing a hezi first because it has a little bit more of a load up, and you have to be able to do the next two inputs while this animation is kind of playing out. So I'm holding RT, flicking my right stick to the ball hand one time, and then twice I'm flicking my right stick down diagonal. And what that's going to do is when I do that input two times, it's going to give me this downhill behind the back from a standing position, and it's so good at beating CPUs. If you ever have a computer on you in this rec center or like park or anything like that after someone quits, boom, this is how you get past them super efficiently. It's very good at getting past people, and just in general a great move, period. Shout out to Yadman Gaming for my first impression of learning how to do the move, because Sprague was telling me to use it, but I already knew how to do it because of him. So when I was labbing up on guard, I then learned how to actually do this little stand still, like downhill behind the back, essentially. So anyway, shout out to Yadman, shout out to Sprague, shout out to both of them. But you can see, easy way to beat the CPU and great dribble move just in general that you want to practice it for sure. Because again, great ability, as you can see a second time, getting past him right there. So I didn't get the AI on me very consistently. They just switched him on to me for a short period of time right there. But man, look at this. Using the hezi into the offhand as well. This is a great display of dribbling that I can have for you guys. And I've learned a lot in the short period of time that I've been on this. It was only like a day of me playing like this. If I had been playing like this for a week or 2 weeks or even like a month at this point, I think I'd be much further developed in this play style. But anyway, hezi into the offhand run. You can see the movement on that is so much faster than a lot of the moves that you can get if you're not labbed up on understanding how to do the movement and stuff like that. So again, just holding RT, flicking the right stick to the ball hand, and then running offhand. Now I do angle this a little bit more wide. You can influence it just a little bit, but it's tough to. I know in a lot of cases as a slasher you don't really want to go wide on your angle as far as the launch because you want to get downhill, but in this case I'm trying to get to the side of the defender. So it is what it is, obviously. And then as you can see, this guy kind of rotates down off the corner, but he doesn't stay. Again, in last year's game it might have been a bad dunk meter because by the time I start it, that's what decides the size of the meter. In this case, it's a little bit more dynamic and fluid, it feels like. But anyway, right there, we call this the fullback dive. This is actually very important for you guys to know if you want to set up with your point guard how to actually move with you. So fullback dive, if you want to copy the terminology, is pretty much your guard takes one angle toward the hoop and you take the other. the best way to set it up, in my opinion, would be exactly like this, where you're both on each side of the free throw line, where it's like, you know, the key, if you will, and one's over on the right side of it, the other is on the left side of it. You're putting the center in a 2-on-1 where he has to either step to the point guard or stay attached to you. Now, in this case, this guy dropped off the hash, did he? Or maybe he just, yeah. So this is elite defense by this dude. Not every time will you see this. You'll see this guy stay attached to the wing a lot more, and then Bonnie will just get by his guard matchup, and then boom, it's just the bigs in a 2-on-1. If your guard can dunk, it's perfect, because then if the big stays attached to you way over here, it's easy dunk for him. If the big rotates over, then you can see it opens up this little opening right here of an alley-oop, and this is the fullback dive aspect to it. It's just, I'm going straight down with him, and it's just a 2-on-1, putting this big in a contact dunk, and you can't get out of that once you get put into it. It's really, really disgusting. It's very effective. I highly recommend it. Right here, you know, just preload, or not even a preload meter dunk, because you can't even do that. I just completely capped, but I just caught it and instantly tried to get into it. Right here, you can see a nice little sig size up that can quickly switch your ball hand. So like, I know you guys saw the escape move that I did earlier, but in this case, it's literally just one time I'm flicking that right stick to the right, and then boom, we just get back to the left, and that's an easy way to get past the guy right there. Pro behind the back, you know, once again, I'm right here, I get a guard on me, so I'm just gonna try and sprint forward and just try and get past him, and I get an opening, and then we're just going straight down to the dunk. If he pre-rotates over right there, you know, if he's getting down way too soon, we can obviously make some dots. You can see I had my icons up early, but once I decided that he was too far away from me on the meter dunk, I just obviously committed to it. So you do want to be smarter these days. You know, you want to be smarter on the meter dunks than you were in last year's game, but they're very doable even still. You just have to use them at the right times. You can't attack centers. And that's why I do recommend you guys, if you are able to build a squad for yourself, definitely try and surround yourself with other people that can attack centers and like really give them a lot of problems. Whether it's the fact that you have good guards that you can work with and put that center who's on you into the pick and roll and force him to actually step up and guard the screens, or he gets punished for playing so low and then you just get an easy 2-on-1 with the screens, or maybe you have, let's say, a stretch big who can take advantage of the center being on them, and you have like an elite power forward on you or something, you know? Just a lot of offensive help that you can have. And you want to be still good on defense with this build too, because it's got the ability to. You got the ability to play lanes, perim D, really elite. The amount of dunking that you do as well activates two-way tenacity every time too. So it's so capable of playing good defense if you allow yourself to be. So don't sleep on that either. You could really play lockdown for all I care. I mean, I really believe in myself as far as playing lock on a build like this, let alone playing back end is still capable. But anyway, right here, just wanted to explain. Now, this is important to know, and I'm going to talk about this with everything to do with the meters. Release this sooner than you would believe, especially for the standing dunks. You want to be earlier than later when it comes to the dunk meter, if you ask me. And you know what? We're just going to switch over to the MyCourt real quick. Sorry, I got so many things to tell you guys about because I'm just trying to introduce you to the build. And I really do believe in this one enough for you guys to copy it. So if you are interested, I just want to be able to help you guys. This is the body shape I'm running, muscular. You got slim and compact that you can pick from, but I'm just running muscular just for those who are curious as well. Dropping a little nugget for you late in the video. All right, so in most cases, when I try and meter dunk, I can't release it and actually be very early. You can see like I'm pump faking with the meters. Now, I guess, you know, from time to time, it will still allow me to be very early, but it's pretty rare as far as I've seen. Like I can't actually get it off in most cases, but then when I actually do get it off, most of the time it's still green. What I really do believe after having like played the game, labbed it up a whole lot and stuff like that, being earlier rather than later on the meter dunk, especially for standing dunks, is so good. It's just so much more responsive. It's a higher hit rate for me, simply put, when I'm on the early end of it. I'm releasing this meter dunk. I'll try and be verbal with this right now. And then boom, like it's before it gets filled up. I'll tell you that much. Because if I do release it when it's filled up, in a lot of cases, I'm going to be late on it. And that's just what I've noticed. I know it's a little bit more of like a word of mouth thing and just, you know, I have to take my word for it. But truly, try it. Try being early rather than late on your meter dunks. Not significantly early, but like, you know, to the point where you would think you're getting an early rather than a perfect on the green. Because that's the biggest adjustment I made, was I was very late on a lot of my meter dunks. And I made that adjustment, and now personally I'd rather see the very early pop up, because now I know at least I wasn't trolling and I ended up on the bad end of the meter dunk. But I know I'm yapping a lot right now. It sounds like I'm spitting BS, but if you put this into action and you try it yourself, I promise, try and be early on the meter dunk rather than late, and keep on fine tuning it a little bit. Just keep on testing it out, because obviously, like I said, we do not have a way to practice very much on our contact dunks, and we don't have a way to assess it. We don't have a way to really get any feedback on whether it was good timing or not. You know, you can't see the visual representation of where the actual green is. So 2K screwed us, and we just got to be able to adapt. And that's what I'm trying to do right now, and that's what I'm trying to help you guys do as well. So I hope you appreciate this like nugget of information and stuff. But anyway, yeah, back to the clips. We'll go ahead and wrap this video up. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and if you have, feel free to drop a like, sub if you're new, turn on noties, all good stuff. Like always, try to win 2,000 likes. But in that standing dunk clip, you could see that was me letting go of the meter like pretty early. This one is an X button dunk. I was kind of troll. I got away with some BS, but it's just because the small guard was on me. In this case, Joey actually has pretty good interior D, and some people might just not be good at it, you know? Like, some people might not be good with this meter, or they don't know about the timing adjustment that I'm talking about, where you want to try and be a little bit earlier with it. Like, even Bonnie right here, you know, or Apollo, actually, in that case. Misses the meter dunk right there. We get the O board, go right back into the standing meter dunk with it. And this is a smaller guy on me that ends up, like, you know, in this area with this smaller, like, kind of lockdown type guy. So honestly, in a lot of cases, the locks are probably usually easy to meter dunk as well. Right here you can see behind the back on an actual user, LeBron dunk. It's just got good takeoff range and stuff like that for sure. Into this case, we're playing defense. I go for the block right there. Get slice and two-way to activate right here, so you can see the speed start kicking in transition, and then we're able to just meter dunk down the lane. Again, it does take good teammates to play with in some cases, where they're, and also people who are willing to put up with you doing some nonsense like this. Because, you know, I got three wide open teammates, and I'm going for the meter dunk right on somebody that in last year's game would have been a terrible take. But again, I needed this opportunity, man. I really, really needed this to be able to actually lab this up and get better at this, so I can give you guys some, you know, representation on understanding what needs to be done to get better. So I'm the lab rat in this case, and I hope you guys did appreciate me actually, like, you know, taking the time to maybe learn some of this stuff. And right here you can see, again, walking it down, letting it go earlier than later, and boom, we get that to go. I know it's a fast meter, and that's another problem with it too. It's so fast on the standing dunk meter that you have to be really ready for like the really quick ones, because that goes away fast. You have to really more so be ready for it rather than react to it. But again, pro behind the back, you know, the offhand run, still just the zigzag ability you have with the Zion dribble style is plenty good as well. So you can see just kind of makeshift making your way down in there. Once again, put the ball on the floor and turn it into a driving dunk, and we're able to get the meter to pop off right there with the slice, with the poster machine. And again, just the ability to play as a big man, you know, like grab the board, get the box out, standing meter dunk on the little guy, and it's just good ball, man. So anyway, that's all video. I hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, feel free to drop a like, sub if you're new, turn on noties, all that good stuff. And like always, try to win 2,000 likes. If you made it to the end of the video, put dunk or put slash in the comments, short sports from way through. I hope you appreciated this one. There's a lot of info and a lot of just, you know, helpful stuff in this, and I hope I am spawning some slashes into the world, and I'm helping a little bit with how hard it is to be a slasher in this game, you know, because it really is. But I had some legendary runs in these last couple of days, and I hope it continues. I hope I continue learning, and I hope I continue getting better, and I hope maybe while I am learning and I'm getting better, I hope the game does become a little bit more playable for us. You know, I hope 2K does buff the dunk meter at least a little bit, because of the fact that they buffed shooting. Honestly, I thought the dunk meter was in a great spot pre-patch, but that's because the rest of offense was hard. But now they made offense way easier in general, especially in the rec, where the shooting sliders are crazy. And I think what they really could use is a little bit easier of a dunk meter, and just, you know, comparing it to how well people can use their X button and stuff like that as well. But anyway, that's all video. Hope you all enjoyed. None of that. Take it easy, man. Peace.